The afternoon sun cast long shadows as I parked outside the quiet roadside bar, the Tumbleweed Inn. The place held memories, some good, some bittersweet. Today, though, I had a feeling it would become the setting of a turning point in my life. My wife, Karen, had asked me to meet her here at 3 o'clock, and something in her tone had told me this wasn't going to be a casual conversation. For months, I had suspected that something was off. Late nights at the office, distant conversations, a new wardrobe filled with outfits she never wore around me. All the signs pointed to one conclusion. I had tried to push the thoughts away, to convince myself that I was overthinking things. But deep down, I knew the truth was about to come to light. As I stepped inside, my gaze immediately found her. She was seated at the bar, a man beside her. I recognized him. Not as a friend, not as a colleague, but as the man I had suspected all along. My stomach tightened, but I took a deep breath, keeping my expression unreadable. She turned, her expression unreadable, but there was no warmth in her greeting. "Mark," she said. "Just my name. No affection, no hesitation." He nodded. "Karen." The man beside her spoke next, his tone too casual for what he was about to admit. "Mark, we wanted to talk to you together. Karen and I have been seeing each other for a while now. She's tired of sneaking around, and we thought it was best to just be honest with you." My father's advice echoed in my mind. Stay silent, let them talk, gather all the information before reacting. So I did just that. I watched as Karen tried to justify herself, explaining how she had no intention of leaving me, how this was just something she needed. As if that made it better. As if I was supposed to be okay with it. I turned, walked to the bar, and ordered a drink. My silence seemed to unnerve them more than any outburst ever could. I sipped my beer, let them squirm, and when I was ready, I stood up and left without a word. That night, I put my real plan into motion. My children, Max and Megan, would be spending the weekend with their aunt and uncle, two people who loved them unconditionally. They didn't need to be around for what was coming next. By the time Karen returned home, the wheels were already in motion. I had spoken to my lawyer, a man who knew the law better than most and had the experience to make sure I came out of this with everything I deserved. She tried to argue, to bargain, but I had heard enough. "You made your choice, Karen," I told her, my voice calm. "Now you'll have to live with it." As I walked away, leaving her in stunned silence, I felt something I hadn't in a long time: control. The storm was coming, but this time I was ready. The following weekend, as I sat on the porch watching the sunset with my kids laughing beside me, I realized something. Freedom wasn't just about escaping a bad situation, it was about reclaiming your own happiness. And I had just taken my first step toward it. Over the next few weeks, the divorce proceedings moved forward, and I focused on rebuilding my life. My work flourished, and I spent more time with my kids, creating new memories that weren't tainted by betrayal. I started going to the gym again, rediscovering parts of myself that I had neglected for years. One evening, while at a coffee shop, I struck up a conversation with a woman reading one of my favorite novels. We laughed, shared stories, and for the first time in a long time I felt a spark. A reminder that endings, no matter how painful, could lead to new and beautiful beginnings. Karen had made her choice. And now, finally, I was making mine.